trigger quickly. Not going to do soft spinny, and whenever he has an opportunity, he'll go aggressive.
He's shown Lin昀儒now that his power and physical game is so much more. He was matching Fan Zhendong last week in Macau for power, and his backhand over the table as well as the flick. Very, very good. A lot of rotation and deep on the table.
Interesting that flick receives. And into the middle. Backhand side right into the body, fast and long. This is interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, even if you know the serve's coming, it's
just the opposite. What an angle here. Ma Long really testing the reach on the wide forehand.
Disguises it as though it's everything but.
There. Over the years, he's been training quite a lot to get a bit more power in his game.
And that's what Lin昀儒has been trying to develop.
And in Chengdu. Again, he was in the 3rd spot in that match for the semifinals, so won all his matches.
Almost on the floor. As a right-hander player, you've got to transfer your right leg to the left, so you can't be too square.
Good pressure with the backhands consistently here from the silent assassin. Interesting, full sort of self-granted towel break for Ma Long. Seeing that, we saw it earlier today as well. On the table as in inside the baseline, his toss.
Show off.
His teammate in Germany. He left in this event. Oh, burning backhand right down the line. 2019. Both back quickly recovered.
Absolutely.
Game 2 here. Lin昀儒, ooh, with a gift. A
Love one.
Lin昀儒.
Yeah.
Bit of ooh factor.
Love
Emphasis on the ooh. 0 serving 1 now. Picks up the pace a bit on this one. Well in position, that wristy backhand. It's a strong weapon, I would say.
It was so hard, that backhand, that Ma Long's counter goes into the bottom of the net. Still spin on it, but it was just so deep too.
And inside the table, Lin昀儒controlling again. They're testing the reach and the footwork. Well now. Surprising length here, and comfortable for Ma Long clearly.
Into the middle, and then the second bounce just kicks out a little bit more because we see that pattern re-emerge.
Backhand side, the bottle challenge serve. That's Lin昀儒for you. A lot of work for that. That so closely before he makes his opening.
The backhand or the forehand, but the backhand set up the forehand.
And this time a little bit shorter, and it keeps Ma Long off the attack. Good answer so far. Quite a start here for Lin昀儒. And a fast long serve, successful again.
If you can play the ball wide first, that will limit your opponent's angles on the table that they can play.
I guess depending on the specifics.
Yeah.
Good answer here. Bottle challenge down the line. I guess we saw earlier a few times where maybe Diaz would go wide and Wang Yidi would answer back even wider because it creates a wider opening.
Yeah. It just seems like there's less table to play with though sometimes if you go for a really wide ball.
Oh, Ma Long saves, backpedaling to so much time. That's how quickly he thinks and prepares. When's the last time you saw Ma Long?
But he's doing it in quite a close scoreline position here in the second game. Why not? Threw Lin昀儒off there.
That's 3 points in a row from down 2-7. It was starting to look like a runaway game.林昀儒has been strong in the serves. These two serves could be two of the most important serves in this match. Well handled on the receive, a handcuffing serve and a top.
7, I think 4-8 too.
I mean, this is pretty fascinating, we've got to admit. It just seems like whenever he wants, he's going to the towel. It's very interesting.
2 times now.
At least. The first time we've seen Ma Long getting a taste of his own medicine here. Good hands,林昀儒with the heavy push to the middle. Much needed point after an incredibly powerful streak, 5 in a row before that for Ma Long.林昀儒takes control, blocks back the first big forehand, and after recover from, this was the one. How smooth and effortless林昀儒. And a tight serve. Ma Long looking for that forehand flick, but not a lot of wiggle room there.
It's top spin. He knows as if he pushes it, it's going to be popped up, so he feels the pressure to flick. Because it's wide and shallow, it's difficult to flick down the line.
3 game points here for林昀儒. And another similar serve, but that back edge of the table staying where it is. That's an impressive backhand to the short side from a tough position.
Yeah, out of reach there, the movement that he made, and it was so quiet. The amount of spin he revved through that. The racket was almost horizontal over the ball.
Middle is all about hitting your opponent in the elbow, right between that forehand and backhand. A little bit off the top of the net here. Serve drifting long, not long enough to be quite surprising. Not short enough to be half long or near the back edge of the table. But still, he captured the point,林昀儒. Oh, quick turn. Anticipates, knows what's to come, takes this ball right off the bounces, and it's paying off so far.
High risk, high reward. Look at that. Side spin as well on that. Jeez. He has a comfortable 3rd ball, he'll have a comfortable 4th ball. So it's important you deny him early on.
But just to clarify, if you're newer to table tennis, first ball is
the Ma Long up in the touch play to then stand at even half a chance in the rally.
Sky lob long. It's not so common we see Ma Long lobbing. Most anything else he will.
And he's a strong lobber. Was it Xu Xin in the Korean Open? Some of the most unbelievable lob smash and then counter rallies I've ever seen.
So out of the first towel break here, a 2-point lead for林昀儒. Short side really abbreviates that stroke by pulling the air.
I want to see the feet here. Reading the game unbelievably. Slightly too obvious where he was going to go, but that's been mega critical. Forehand of林昀儒was that good.
It's tough to get around that ball. Even if you know where he's going there to play a forehand, the real question is, I mean, we saw林昀儒leaning just to get around it the point before. Good wrap there. The ability to improvise and adapt. We've seen Ma Long in trouble before, but end game is where he's strong.
Anyway, maybe a reverse pendulum into the forehand would be, but he's not going for it.
Excellent setup here.林昀儒at the baseline. This touch play, he's really working the depth short from the baseline. 7 serving 3. Loaded with oh, really? Cross long, Ma Long taking control. No. That is out. No flashbacks to 2015.
Against Fang Bo.
That's the one.
You there too.
And so the opponent, it can sure be effective. Forehand. So 6-1. For the dictator. And that's all. Several times before. A little bit of extra spin on this one.
What I've noticed when he's down Lin昀儒, he's so good at taking it to a decider. But then if it comes to the decider, sometimes he just slackens off a little bit. Let's see what he does.
It's interesting, the fly seemed to stay there after Ma Long cleared for a minute.
You know, that was on
to Ma Long, but we know our boundaries, you know, the limits. His boundaries. Anyway, respect, respect. This is bread and butter. Lin昀儒's backhand over the table has been beating the Chinese national team players for years and years now. 2017 Czech Open. You could see all sorts of players trying to figure out how to handle the amount of spin he generates with. Flick, but it's brought back with pace.
Apologizes there. I think that was very fortunate. I want to see it on the replay.
We'll cut the top of the net on the way over.
Okay. It was just so instinctive and reactive too.
Yeah, not much time out here. These players very quick, keeping the racket high, ready to shoot back when they need. Lin昀儒has played the Chinese Super League before. Not too many outside of the Chinese national team have had that opportunity, that privilege.
I only really think of Dima, Timo Boll, and Jung Young Sik as well.
Jung Young Sik, what about you, Say Hyuk?
He played as well.
Oh, the restart. Especially after Darko Jorgic, that he still is able to recover. Top edge up and out.
Ma Long is staying very close to the table on the receive. He doesn't want to step in too prematurely. Lin昀儒is serving long a lot, but Ma Long doesn't have a lot of time there to do much about it, apart from just feel the serve back. See what he does.
Well, stays on top of this one. That was with a very closed racket to counter this ball. You see how much on his toes he had to get to stay on top of that?
Unreal. Unreal.
That's right. Lin昀儒really has to make sure he gets to the finish line first.
Again, Lin昀儒has to be bold, has to be brave. You can do that. Hadamoto is showing it as well.
And here, even when it's dipped below the table, a lot of players would slow way down, pop it up a little bit, trying to keep it low to the net, but not Ma Long. That's booing the past game, the last game. Big point here for Lin昀儒. He's going to have to take what he can get. I mean, in all fairness, he must win this game to send this to a decider. Ma Long is a few points away from winning this match and moving on to the semifinals. Remember, a lot of prize money, a lot of points on the line. That backhand, what are you thinking?
Good serve from Ma Long, but it just drifted a little bit too high. That's what Long serves. That's what happens at this level if the serve bounces a little bit too much.
It's funny, I mean, you saw it come over, then even touch the net nearly. It was as low to the net as possible. I think Lin昀儒just didn't move in early. Ma Long might have been counting on him to step in for the Chiquita and have to be out of position a little bit for that shot. Top edge of the racket here from Lin昀儒, a little missed contact, but he's going for his shots, he's making his shots. Comeback from Ma Long, 4 points in a row from 3-7 down. It's林昀儒with 3 game points to send.
Can he cash in this game 4?
It's a little table mate. Second serve here for the silent assassin. Ooh. Backhand does it, chop block long. This is it, only one will move on to the semifinals. Ma Long to serve. Takes that patient stroke with the forehand to wait and see where the opponent starts to lean. Very clever play from Ma Long. Counter.
The best service in the game have such simple, almost seemingly identical service motions. It's not about winning outright points off the service, it's about setting things up. Ma Long. So it's been Ma Long chasing林昀儒, it seems.
Yeah, that's the difference. I was gonna say Ma Long at that level, but sort of on a level of his own. Respond and perform under pressure.
Did off Chodang last week, and he's beaten. He only tends to be beaten in the deciding game as well. Wang Chuqin at the European Summer Series. Wang Chuqin, Ma Long.
Good pressure from under the table.林昀儒with a solid spin shot there to put some pressure on. Remember, no timeout left for林昀儒. Can he do the same that Ma Long has been able to do to him? Come back from.
And there's Ma Long. But
percentage-wise, does it give the percentage for that number?
It is 86%.
It's exactly his career win rate. Left-handers don't bother him. He has 9 match points here in the decider. 1 saved.
10-2.
There will be no celebration.
10-3.
2 match points saved. It's funny, this is the time when a lot of people would start getting out of the parking lot if it was the last match of the night, but it's also when the best comebacks of all time are possible, when they seem the least likely.